the thing that I as I've gotten to know you over the years, like I know that trade shows are kind of huge in your industry, and generally just events and being out there because it's hard to get in front of these buyers. A lot of these technology oriented founders are like, I'm looking for scalable ways to acquire. Doing the send 30,000 emails and so forth. Like, what did was that a conscious decision to be like, "Hey, I kind of like we gotta be where they're at," and because it's not normal, for a lot of early stage companies to invest in event-based marketing as a strategy to acquire customers, but maybe you can talk about that as a strategy that you kind of explored and how you are doing it today.
Yeah, I think SMB is definitely could be different than enterprise or other motion, but we knew when I was in person selling, 99% close rate. All of our whenever we had somebody go in person to an operator, we pretty much didn't lose. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And so we tried to build a field sales motion. Toast has a huge field
Mhm.
sales motion. We learned a ton from them. Realized super hard to scale, really costly. And there's opportunity costs that you have when a rep is driving around places when they're not, versus sitting at a computer and doing demos. And so we didn't have the money or the resources or the market to really effectively, because our operators are not in the business a lot of the time, to go door to door to laundromats and really win from that perspective. You could do that in dental offices. You can do that maybe
That's because
in
the
self service
operators are
stores. You
not
could
physically there.
They're just physically not there, and the attendant is not always sophisticated enough. Some of them are unattended, but they're not. English is a second
Mhm.
language. They're not sure if they should actually give you the owner's information, so we realized, okay, we can't pound the pavement in that way scalably. I can do it personally, but it's not something that scales in every market. So the events became big for us. Now in laundry, it's not like Money 2020 and then there's Dream for it. It's not the same. You have the clean show that happens once every other year, and it happened. We launched in 2021 as a company, and then the first clean show was in 2022. And we had raised our Series A, and we decided we are going to have the sickest booth at this show, and we are going to sponsor every tote. It is going to be the Sense Show sponsored by Clean, not the Clean Show with us as a sponsor. And I mean, it was unbelievable. The reception, because what I think SMBs love is the in-person connection, and they like to be wowed. They like to feel like something is cool and that they're in the presence
Was
of a
that a
group
scary investment?
of
Was that like a scary investment? Because I can imagine, for most Series A, you just raise Series A. It's probably a fairly costly effort, but you were like, let's go all in.
I mean, there was probably some ego in it of being like, I want Sense to be the thing here. So it was less scary. I also just think I mean, our sales motion was ripping, and we just felt like we knew the payback, what it would take, and we hit it in the first day. So I think that the early momentum gave us a remarkable amount of confidence. But I also think that there was just some naive, we can do anything to make it happen, where I didn't even really think about it. I mean, I kind of was stopping at the urinal cakes to sponsor, but like everything else, I was
If there
pretty
was a
bullish
place to
on
put a
getting a
Sense
return
logo,
from it.
you would do it.
I mean, we were pretty, I mean, it was everywhere, and but we also knew this doesn't happen every year.
Right.
So we gotta like really nail it. We just had one in 2024 in Orlando, and we have the best booth. It is. We actually had a speaking series with a podium and stage that was jammed. I mean, I bring 30 people, and there's no bandwidth. Nobody has bandwidth. We're having people drinking honey in the back because their voices are gone, and it's a high and a rush. But again, it's because we know the in person motion works. And the other side, should tell a lot of, at least in SMBs, like distributors in your market are critical. We sell tens of millions of dollars through distributors of all of our hardware. We don't sell hardware directly. We only sell it through distributors.
Is
And
that a
so
regulatory thing, or is that a strategy that you guys are executing?
it's generally, you can't buy a laundry machine, commercial laundry machine, from a manufacturer. You have to buy it through a distributor.
Mm,
So if they're already selling the steel,
mhm,
they're already selling the machines. Might as well also have them sell the hardware that needs to be drilled into them.
mhm.
And so we went from 0 distributor shows in 2023 to 67 in 3 months of people there with booths and banners and all of our products there in a 3-month period in 2024. And 2025 was even more. And we had, and then we had the clean show. And so I'd say like the in-person events, even if there's 10 people there at a Holiday Inn in Iowa, or there's the clean show with 10,000 plus people in Orlando, those are the best ways that we can do field sales because at least
It's
it's a sponsored event. It's bringing people there.
founders are scared about that spend. How do you talk to a founder that's like, man, I feel like I need to be there, but I don't know whether I'm ready. How do you know when you're ready? I mean, you try. Is this just back to gut?
I unfortunately operate on the GD scale, as one of our investors says. I am way more on the G scale than the D being data. I am way more on the gut scale, and I'm working on the other as much as
But
possible.
you
I
did say
think
that the sales motion was ripping,
for
right?
sure, the momentum. I mean, you feel the momentum. I think the most important thing is just being intellectually honest of where you are, and if you don't, after you have an investor, you don't need to sell them.
Hmm.
Like it's the whole thing is let's be as honest as humanly possible because we're having this baby, we're doing this thing together. So I think early on, now what I did in my last company when we had no money is I'd go to Best Buy, buy computers, return them after the conference. I wouldn't hire any setup people. I'd bring everything in 2 suitcases, set up myself because the unions charge a fortune for any kind of setup. And I did it as cheap as you possibly can. Or I'd go and just wear a shirt and give flyers and not actually have a booth and a table. And the first clean show, before we were even full time on the business, we were just learning and understanding what people were doing. Now, in different markets, they're more competitive and things can be more expensive. And I think that we were lucky where our booth was like in it. We spent a lot of money on it, but in context of a normal conference, it wasn't insane. But in relativity to the other vendors at this show, we had a pretty dominant size and experience on that. But we just knew like this past one, we've almost just have to do it because of the size that we are in the industry. Because it's also the best form of brand marketing. It establishes
I found
us
that
as
the
that.
channel that the distributor strategy that you guys sort of doubled down on, which is I guess necessary in the context of how hardware was distributed in your category. Was there a lot of competition? I mean, imagine at least in channels that I've explored with in other markets, like people are, they have their friends and they're like, hey, you might be a superior solution. How did you approach that in tactics?
Yeah, I think this goes back to, this is where investors missed it completely early on with us is investors didn't take the time to learn about the different mechanisms of how we can sell in this space. They put you in a box and they say, well, our portfolio company over here sold like this and they're doing really well, so you should do that. And frankly, I'm not definitely not blaming investors. This was our idea, but our just hand-to-hand combat on sales, we didn't spend time understanding how important the distributors were in this market. If I found that out earlier, we actually might have gone faster, further, easier if we spent time understanding the actual vertical and not being obsessed with our own ability to sell. Now, the discomfort with distributors is they control your destiny,
Hmm.
right? So what we've kind of threaded the needle on is we have our direct sales motion for our software products that distributors have never sold. We then train distributors to also sell those products and they get their commissions if they sell those
The
products.
software products or the hardware
The
products?
software.
Hmm.
Hardware, we've always sold through
Hmm.
distributors. We sold like in the very beginning directly just because no distributor would pick up our hardware
Right.
because it was brand new.
Hmm.
But then we really sold through distributors. I think we could have done more. And actually, today, if we bring a deal, if we get a deal for a hardware customer that we could sign, once they're ready to buy, we loop into their distributor.
Mm.
So we even cultivate the leads and then pass it on to somebody who's done nothing for that lead and for that deal and pay them anyway because it's just worth it to build the relationships with those distributors. But we do ensure that they don't control our kind of universal destiny on a go-to-market perspective, but we invest heavily in it. We pay more to distributors on commissions than any other company in our size in our space. Excuse me. We have distributor programs of diamond, platinum, and gold with different incentives. And now we're training them to also sell a lot of our software products. But again, I'm not saying that a distributor motion is the key to everything. And I'm not saying that direct sales is weak. In fact, the both together present something really unique. But overall, I don't know every business and every market and what's important where. But there are channels that existed before all of us vertical SaaS people where operators were buying things from.
Right.
There weren't always companies with big, sophisticated, Salesforce driven account executive go to market motions. And so leaning on that also gets you better buy-in from the industry overall.
Hey, this is Ben Kesnoka, co-founder of Village Global. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Village Global podcast, where we go deep on all of the biggest topics in tech. If you enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. We'd love to see you for the next one.